Darren Fell is one of Brighton's most successful and well-known entrepreneurs. He's the founder and CEO of Crunch.co.uk, and for over a decade Damon has pioneered a revolution in online accounting. Damon will now share with us some of his story and provide leadership and creativity advice to give us a chance to follow in his quite remarkable steps.
Hello, my name is Darren Fell. I'm the founder and CEO of Crunch. That's crunch.co.uk. We are an online accountancy firm in Brighton, if you don't know of us. So we're a whole fintech team that have built an online accounting system that shows your tax live, invoicing, receipt capture, expenses. But most importantly, we have the real service behind it, the client manager and the accountant, to do everything, not just to be a bit of software and then you having to go and find an accountant, but to do the whole kit and caboodle, VAT returns, the year-end accounts, the limited company stuff, the setting up the limited company, all of that. That is Crunch. So Crunch was set up back in 2007 when I met an ex-HMRC tax consultant and his friend who has a web agency here in Brighton. And those are the days when I was still doing Pure 360, the email marketing company that's still going strong. And I thought, yeah, that sounds really, really good. A challenge and a half to go and build an online accountancy system. But it wasn't to be just an online accountancy system. I wanted it covering the whole kit and caboodle, so the software and service. And today you're now going to see, some 10, 12 years on from that point, the whole world upping the ante and adding service actually in. Bookkeepers accessible from maybe within QuickBooks, accountants accessible from within the software. So software and service, we were kind of ahead of the game. So, yeah, after, 9 years of doing email marketing and doing it the right way, anti-spam, I wanted to challenge the whole way accountancy was delivered, and that's what Crunch is today. We are now 190 team members based up in Preston Park. As I said, the fintech team, we've got a big client management team looking after the 11,000 customers, and in total with our community, it mounts up to about 50,000 members and 11,000 are actually using the accounting system and service. And yeah, we've got 18,000 square feet up in Preston Park in Telecom House. And after this COVID-19 outbreak, maybe we may not be needing all of that space, so because remote working has gone tremendously well. So yeah, to the story again. 2007, I started looking at it, started building it in parallel to the Pure 360 I was running then, and we worked incredibly hard. It was a nutty time for me, wanting to really disrupt the world of accountancy, but help people in the most difficult area when they're setting up a business, the administration and the accounting. And that's what I wanted to solve. But I really wanted, I was so intrigued about helping the micro businesses, the 1 to 10 market, the freelancers, the contractors, and that up to about the 10 space is the fastest growing area, and I felt that really needed to be addressed with the community, and a full complete service, not just part of the service like all these bits of software out there. And there's numerous ones from zero onwards that solve the accountancy but don't solve the whole piece, the end-to-end piece. You're undoubtedly going to need a specialist like an accountant in there. So that's the crux of wanting to solve and really genuinely help people out there, particularly the micros. So worked very hard in parallel, running Pure 360. I did the due diligence for the sale of Pure 360 and sold it in April 2008 and launched Crunch in 2009 after launching the community which is differently named Freelance Advisor, freelanceadvisor.co.uk, with stacks and stacks of knowledge articles of how to and events and various things and presentations I went out and did. So there's that in a kind of a nutshell. I know I'm speaking fast about the whole story. So now the interesting thing is, when we launched this, I was completely exhausted, as you can imagine. I've been running Pure 360. I've done the due diligence for the sale. I'm building up this brand new entity, crunch.co.uk, to disrupt the marketplace, building a system from scratch that is double entry accounting and live tax, and does year-end annual accounts production. It's a mad system to build. So we launched on April the 8th, 2009. I was the salesperson, got on the phone, sell. I needed a break. I remember going away on holiday, asking the team not to contact me because I really needed a down tools. I was in Mallorca, and all the poo hit the fan, and a blogger was writing about how he gave poor advice. He turned out to be a shareholder in a SaaS accounting software firm out there. And then the onslaught happened. Accountants sent me very interesting, in brackets, not very pleasant emails. Tweets were received. They hated what Crunch had done, of course, because the bit I haven't told you is when we came to the market at £59.50 per month. So 700 odd quid a year is a stunning price point compared to what we carried on surveying the market delivering at £1,500 and £2,500 a year. In fact, many people were paying £5,000 for very, very simple sets of accounts. So I completely and utterly disrupted the market at under £1,000 or 700 odd quid with software and the service element to do the full annual accounts production, to have an account manager on the phone, to have an accountant available for as much as you wanted. This was unheard of. So the market received Crunch incredibly poorly. And in fact, I used to have dreams of walking down the street and having rotten fruit and veg thrown at me, if you can imagine that, because the accountants were so upset. So upset that I'd launched this business into that territory. I mean, I'd gone unscathed completely in the email marketing marketplace. I knew all the competitors. We all got on well. But the second I came into the land of bean counters, oh my God, I received quite a bit of flack. And only as the years progressed, did you get that recognition? I think, was it some 5 or 6 years ago, Accountancy Age, recording us clocking into the top 100 accountancy firms by revenue, and suddenly I had my reference point. We were doing really, really well. Today we stand at position 63 in the country by revenue, and that's a stunning achievement in little over 10 years from me. And the other thing I haven't told you is I'm not an accountant. I'm surrounded by accountants, of course. So I'm not an accountant, and I'm now 63rd in the country, top accountancy firms. So that's quite stunning. So it's done incredibly well. And I think now our move is to play more into the accounting platform market. So you'll see lots and lots of stuff coming out with Crunch, where we're not selling, we're unbundling the software from the service. So you'll be able to buy the software very cost effectively. So watch out on crunch.co.uk. You'll see some exciting developments there. So what advice can I give you if you wanted to follow in my footsteps? Well, I'd question doing something as complicated as building an accounting system, a double entry accounting system, full accounts production, and the service side infrastructure with the client managers and the accountants with it, because that was not easy. So the very first thing is assessing the market you're going into. And there's two very clear and distinct paths to go down: an entrepreneur's route and a businessman's route. An entrepreneur's route is to blindly charge into an area knowing the gut feeling that you can actually conquer it, you can make it work despite all the odds, and you're going to go for it and make it work. Or the business route is to do stacks and stacks of market research with the potential of actually convincing yourself that the competitors in there or the problem is too complex to solve. Now, of course, I chose the former, the entrepreneur's route. So that is the first thing always to map out, is the route you're going to actually go down. A little bit of research, over the market is useful, but zero research and to go for it will often cause a lot of pain. I went through a lot of pain putting Crunch together, but we have the most amazing business now, clocking some very decent revenues, which you'll see on the accountancy age, top 50 plus 50. You'll see us in position 63, and the revenues that we're currently doing, and hopefully we carry on steaming up the charts. Those are the two key routes. Limited research, dive in there and make it work at all costs. It may cost you a lot personally, or to go down the more considered route. But the danger is you could actually convince yourself that it's too complex. Obviously, I chose the really stressful route. But anyway, we're here, we've done it. Leadership, I think I've been through every style possible over the 12 years I've been building up crunch.co.uk, from the initial ones of being that utterly passionate entrepreneur. In fact, I don't think I've ever lost that utter passion to make it work and to support the team and to create careers. But the beginning was we're on a mission together and we're going to radically changed the world of accountancy. So that was my leadership style there. It was a bit stressy in places. I think I've progressed and now we have a more older Fell now, more considered, less flying off the handle, supporting and coaching a collegiate leadership team, and that is so much better. You can't do everything yourself, and you have to find amazing people, and Crunch has found an amazing leadership team. Put them in a circle, support them, coach them, give them every bit of love and training or whatever they need, and you'll end up with something fantastic. I think the former, going back to the beginning of Crunch, I was almost certainly running around in headless chicken mode, thinking I can solve everything myself. In fact, I really didn't have a leadership team then. I had one director, my operations director, just next to me. So leadership styles will change. The building that strong team and supporting them is clearly fantastic. And I'd go as far as saying that is the most important thing in the business, the team, and creating an amazing culture where you avidly look after everybody, and that is very much the culture in Crunch, really to the nth degree. Unless someone clearly isn't gonna work out or they just don't fit, you pile in as much energy, love, support, and as a consequence, Crunch has an amazing people team to support all of our team members. So creativity, if you imagine. I'm number one, a very, very creative person. I love it, and that starts with the brand. The brand has to be cultured and created, and it has to feel exactly right, and that's what you put all your emotion into. So Crunch started off with almost 50 shower names, as I call them. Shower names because you always come up with the most outstanding brand name in the shower. So there'd be lots of wet footprint marks all the way to the chest of drawers where you've got your big scribble notepad and you write down the next shower name. Always at the most inappropriate points do you come up with a great name. However, 6 months I persisted, and I worked with a guy, a friend of mine who had a creative agency. He's retired now, and I promised to buy him summer girls all evening until he came up with the name, because it was all about number crunching, and of course he came up with crunch in almost seconds, and I did carry on buying him the beers. So creativity is everything, and it starts with the brand name and then the brand look and feel, and you'll notice that Crunch looks so different to any other accountant, although the accountants have all caught up now. If you imagine us back in 2009 when we launched, we were competing against accountancy firms above a shoe shop in the high street, with some peeling off gold letter writing, with partners in dingy little offices that were prefabricated, with lots of books and files and paper everywhere. No one had come along like Crunch, with bright, colourful, easy learning centre, as I used to term it, colour schemes and punchy, copy on the site. So creativity is everything, and it's so important to me. And if we end up with a team that is missing that component, then that component needs to be filled. And creativity must flow throughout the whole business. I mean, even we've got our own little bit of merchandise, and I'm wearing a Crunch t-shirt now. Creativity throughout makes such a difference, and even the tiny things, the team wearing t-shirts, or even like customers or members of your community wearing t-shirts is a nice thing. Creativity is so important. Strategy, I have avidly worked hard on strategy for forever. I don't stop on strategy. I'm often 2 to 5 years ahead of the business all the time, and some of those ideas will proliferate down to the leadership team, and I'll present things. Normally these all get combined now for the business plan. So that strategy I've thought about, and I've got a big whiteboard in my office when I am in my office. Obviously we're not in the lockdown, and I will map through idea after idea after idea and talk to as many people as I can. Talk to my chairman, Michael Van Schvee, who was the chairman of and CEO of Skype, and I was on the board of eBay, just to chuck that little nugget in there. And it's fantastic to bounce all those strategic ideas off. So every year now it gets presented as a strategic vision to the leadership team for them to debate and question. Then that gets solidified, and they take their operational plans from that. So strategy is absolutely key, and it's key to stay way ahead of the competition by always trying, not trying to be different for different sake, but trying to see ahead and keep looking at the competition again, and keep looking further afield, keep looking to the US to see if there's anything ahead of the UK. Strategy, absolutely important. Don't ever deliver something and think it's done. It's never done. Like the shop window, your website should never stay still. Your strategy should be ever reaching. And lastly, before I go on forever and ever in this piece, staying sane has been utterly important, and over the years I've made sure I do as much exercise as I can. I can't say in the early years I've eaten particularly well, nor have I refrained from alcohol. The station pub next to Hove Station was frequented by the Crunch team quite a lot, to the point that when we had to leave for our new Preston Park offices in Telecom House, the landlord, Eric, was most upset, saying that he would be losing a rather large turnover. Anyway, so in the early days, luckily, we were in the old perfume factory, and dynamic yoga was next to us, and I gave it a go, and the yoga in Bikram style, 37, 38 degrees, was one of the best things I've ever done. In terms of the feeling afterwards was amazing, and the feeling the next day it carried on was so beautiful, and the body felt relaxed and stretched, and your spine felt fine. So I think that's important. I've got a treadmill and an elliptical, and I love doing Swift, which is that electronic cycling thing. So the physical wellness is so important. But the thing out of all of the things that has changed, been the game changer, has been transcendental meditation, which sounds, if you haven't heard of it, really, really hippie and really far out there. It is not at all. There's loads of practitioners all over the world. It came from the 60s from an amazing Indian gentleman that went out presenting it to the world. It was a perfect time in that hippie movement then, but it's carried on going till this day. And all it is, you go for a simple session. There's one here. Mark is the local practitioner. Go to his house. You have a very simple non-religious ceremony to thank the original teacher, this Indian guy. You get given an innocuous Indian word, and twice a day you sit down calmly. You ideally sit up straight. You close your eyes, and I set the timer on Insight Timer, an app on iOS, and I say this word again and again and again. Now my brain is firing, fizzing and buzzing all the time, and all these ideas all flow in, and I think that's the same for a lot of us in business. And eventually there's no more room left, all these thoughts and ideas, and you're left serene, peaceful. And often I go to sleep, in fact every time I go to sleep, and the Insight Timer goes ding. And in rather a Buddhist style, if you've heard that little like ding that goes on forever and wakes you up 20 minutes later, twice a day. Absolutely sorted. Otherwise, I find and have found over the years that if you imagine this a sine wave of acceleration of my brain thinking, and it reaches a crescendo, and I'm absolutely burnt out at that point. It's not just the workload that's going on, it's the strategic ideas, the ideas I have for marketing campaigns, for copy, for everything. And it gets too much, and you burn out, and then I have to stop doing stuff. And the sine wave goes back down again, and then I reach the bottom, and then I feel I've got the energy again. And that's how it used to be for years and years and years. Peak, accelerating, talking fast, not sleeping, feeling awful, very excited about the business still. Now we have an even pace of these 2 20-minute slots that makes all the difference. So I'd honestly say reach out for something. It could be an app called Calm. It could be, excuse me, it could be going for a session with Transcendental Meditation. It's amazing, by the way. It's a charity. It's a little bit more expensive than anything else, but that's because the monies go to the charity to help people really in need, who may say, for example, younger teenage boys who've got suicidal tendencies. So the charity is really, really good, and it's worth spending the money on that training, and you do it with a group of people after your first session with the practitioner. So I can't recommend that enough for all of us business and entrepreneurial types. So there you go. Hopefully I haven't witted on too long. That's me, Darren Fell, of my two businesses, Pure 360, all those years ago, the email marketing firm, and now crunch.co.uk, the online accounting firm. I hope it's been useful. Any questions, I'll see if I can answer them. Just Darren at crunch.co.uk. Stay safe out there. Thank you, obviously, massively to the NHS. You're doing a wonderful job. My sister is in ITU. She's been in the NHS for 25 years. She was wearing full PPE kit in her Worthing hospital, looking after 2 patients with coronavirus, and through the PPE, she got coronavirus. Luckily, she's a bit of a runner, and she was back on the wards a week and a half later. So, all of them, the doctors and nurses, the porters, the kitchen staff, everybody in these hospitals is amazing. So thank you so much. So that's all from me. Thank you.